down in life. Take it easy so that you could hear the voice of the Lord when it was prompting you, and you had enough time to react to it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I notice that when I get calm and go out in the countryside, then I feel really moral and good and have clarity. But working and living in the city and running around, it's when I get sped up and crazed that I even catch myself having really evil thoughts and acting vicious and really turning into like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I mean, I've experienced it myself, and that's why the whole system is about speeding us up, confusing us, getting us angry, never letting us slow down.
And that's what rock music is all about. I don't care if it's got great melodies or a great beat. The point is, it's too hyper. It's too all-consuming. And it literally drives away any ability to perceive the Spirit of God in your life. And I'm not talking about religious things. 99% of all that I get from God daily is about my temporal life, about this is right, this is wrong, or when I'm going through, I get hundreds of emails a day from various sources around the world, and I have to sift through that. I can sense when I'm reading a story, that's not quite right. Yeah, that's right. Or this needs more research. Check that out. You just get help. You feel that, I'm sure, as you go through the news. That's the Lord helping us determine truth and evil. And when you cut out that voice, when you tell that voice, oh, I don't want to hear that voice about weight control. I don't want to hear it about exercise. I don't want to hear that about discipline to my children. We basically telling the Lord to get lost, and there's a penalty to be paid for that. I think he penalizes us in terms of the amount of truth that we get when we continue to tell him to get lost.
Wow, it's so incredibly huge. I guess the 60s terms would be heavy. But I was downtown this week looking at the big buildings, looking at the people, looking at helicopters flying around. And then a drone flew by. The drones are just all over the place now in Austin. A little toy drone, smaller drone. And it was the fantasticness of consciousness and being alive on this planet. And then you see full-grown men only caring about Sports Center or only caring about, partying. And I'm not on some high horse myself either. It's just that you really see how the whole world, the manufactured world, is meant to blind us from the real world going around in front of us that's so fantastical that if we ever just slow down for a minute, it's awe-inspiring that we're alive and conscious in the middle of all this. Of course we're spiritual. Of course there's something much bigger. And the whole system is telling us, no, there is nothing bigger. Because it doesn't want us to question and say there could be a conspiracy, or question and say there could be more. We're being told, no, only what the world gives you. That's all that's real.
But, I get a chance, fortunately, to get away from the computer 2 or 3 times a day when I go out in the country and fly around the country to analyze people's property and help them in strategic relocation. And it's amazing how refreshing that is. I'm supposed to be working, and I do work hard, sometimes 14 hours a day, with people, and they're constantly bombarding me with questions and, give me the answers to these. But, I still, when I'm out in the country, I come back refreshed. And I know you feel that way too, Alex, but it's incredible how we have to break this urbanization mold that the society is trying to push upon us and realize that you need to get out at the end of the day into a more tranquil environment.
Well, the Bible says the city's the place where you find the evil, and there is no doubt that it's just unnatural. And then you've got an unnatural system working through that unnatural template to try to break our basic human programming, the attack on men, on the family, on women, on children. It's so predatory, and I don't see how other folks can't see that it's predatory. Not that I've got all the answers or that you have it all, but just admit, folks, it's a predatory world system. We need to be analyzing it. We need to understand it. We need to not trust it. We need to double-check everything it puts out and double-check what we say. Just don't let these predators have their way with you. Be aware that the danger is increasing any way you slice it. 800-259-9231 is the toll-free number to join us. Joel Skousen will take your questions for the balance of the hour. We've got some other news breaking as well. 800-259-9231. I'm your host, Alex Jones, Infowars.com. You can follow us on Twitter at RealAlexJones.
Hey, Boomer! I learned in school today that 60% of our bodies are made of water. Good thing we have the Berkey system. It's the cleanest, best water ever. Mom says it's because the Berkey's filtration system cleans out the bad stuff and leaves only pure, delicious water. I know, right? You love it too. Yeah, I'm thirsty too. Let's go get some. Get Berkey Clean Water by calling 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653. Or visit goberkey.com.
Listen up, all you preppers and survival enthusiasts. Sigma 3 Survival School has a brand new survival instructor training program that will teach you everything you need to know about survival, and then license you to teach our survival programs so you can make a substantial profit from it. If you have always wanted to learn to be completely self-reliant and would like to make money at it, then check out Sigma 3 Survival School Survival Instructor Program at survivalschool.us or call 479-561-3886 today.
You've heard about the essential qualities of iodine when it comes to your well-being, and you've read the opinions of top experts regarding this good member of the halogen family. Still, reports indicate that iodine is absent in sufficient amounts from the daily lives of countless people worldwide. Now, our extra-strength new nascent iodine formula is here, Survival Shield X2, leading the way into the next generation of super high-quality nascent iodine. InfoWars Life Survival Shield X2 is derived from 200+ million-year-old salt solutions found more than 7,000 feet below the Earth's surface. The result is a unique nascent iodine that is both concentrated and free of unwanted additives, genetically modified ingredients, and completely vegan. We even pre-screen our Survival Shield X2 iodine for radiation. Pure, clean, and sourced from deep within the Earth. X2 nascent iodine is available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or call 1-888-253-3139.
If you have candida overgrowth, just taking antifungal agents or starving yourself of sweets does not address the cause. Candida overgrowth is the result of a toxic, damaged, acidic, low oxygen, and inflamed tissue environment. The goal should be to remove the toxins, heal damaged tissues, restore healthy pH, eliminate inflammation, and feed beneficial bacteria. Previous usage of antibiotics or steroids or exposure to mercury or other toxins can damage many cells in the GI tract and body that make you prone to candida overgrowth. Removing toxins and healing tissues should be the goal. One World Whey is a whey protein food that supports detoxification, repair of tissues, and elimination of inflammation, healthy pH, and growth of beneficial bacteria. One World Whey is duly reformulated to be higher in protein and lower in carbohydrate. We believe One World Whey is an excellent food to support your efforts to create a healthy internal body environment. Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
News flash. Home invasions are on the rise. It takes less than 10 seconds to kick in a door. 10 seconds is not enough time to protect your family. And what would happen if you're not home? Easy Armor is the ultimate security solution. 85% of break-ins are through a door. Protect your home now with Easy Armor. Go to InvasionStopper.com to get real security for under $70. That's InvasionStopper.com. Easy Armor. Your security is our only business.
Does advertising on the Genesis Communications radio network actually bring positive results? Let's ask
Thomas Baldrick from Freeze Dry Guy.
And do the GCN listeners let you know they heard your ad?
Customers do let us know they've heard Freeze Dry Guy ads on GCN. They seem to be very loyal listeners to GCN, and they stay with those shows, and subsequently they stay with our business too.
Looking for positive results? Contact Lee Wickenhauser at 877-996-4327, extension 107.
Our guest. I'm your host, Alex Jones. There's a lot of breaking news on Infowars.com. Black conservative leader says Obama could declare martial law, cancel 2016 elections. They don't need to. The bureaucracy's already canceled the Bill of Rights and Constitution. Ebola camps. Fox analyst calls for quarantine camps in every city. And now Bloomberg has a bunch of medical officials basically calling for the same thing. Dallas nurse with video asks, is Ebola airborne now? Most of U.S. hospitals cannot safely handle Ebola patients. Sick passengers on Boston flight prompt Ebola scare. Hazmat crews on scene. 70 hospital staffers cared for Ebola patient. Ebola outbreak, UN worker dies in German hospital. Ferguson protesters hold surprise rally at Upscale Plaza. Shopping mall harass shoppers and say they want them to be uncomfortable. This is becoming very racial, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I'm against the Ku Klux Klan being racist, and I've protested them. I'm also against other groups being racist towards white people. And that's kind of the idea that, like, the only form of inequity or evil in the world is from a white person. Well, that's just ridiculous. People act pretty much the same everywhere. There's different cultural variances, but it's just to say that someone's inherently evil because they're black or inherently evil because they're white is just asinine, and it's really getting bad. And a lot of really unsavory elements have gotten involved in the whole Ferguson situation now, and the police have acted out of control as well, but now they're getting shot, so this is becoming really a destabilizing effect. And Joel, we're going to go to phone calls from John in Oklahoma listening on KZLS, and Joe and JD and Mark and Rick. But I want to start going to them at the start of the next segment because this is a short segment so we don't get cut off by a break. You write a lot about this in Strategic Relocation in the book. You talk about it a lot in the film. The way the establishment has created balkanization and exacerbated cultural and racial differences. And it really seems like this is getting worse than ever. What's your current take on that?
You know, there's a lot of talk about and hype about ISIS coming over the border and creating terrorist attacks. And I predicted that there will be no such attacks any more than there's been any other attacks for the last, well, forever, even since 9/11. And that's because this is controlled terror we're dealing with. You know, we got a wide open border with Mexico. What's to stop real terrorists from buying a ticket to Mexico and coming across the border and blowing themselves up in a shopping mall? The fact is that the American people would react very decisively and require that border be shut down tighter than a drum. And that's why they don't let the terrorists come across. And it proves that they are controlled. And that's why I'm saying the real purpose of that open border is this multicultural agenda, the increased crime, the increased stress, and to overwhelm conservative voting patterns in this country with the democratic, socialist-leaning voting patterns of uneducated Mexicans that come across.
And by the way, Blue State brags and openly admits that. I mean, they say, we will get your guns within 10 years. And the Democrats organize around race while telling everybody else they can't. I want to organize around liberty and freedom, but as you said, these are third world countries that have never been free. This country's in trouble.
Well, and the judges are upholding this. Shows that there's a conspiracy that goes clear into the judicial department, because literally every judge where you take these cases to court to protest Democratic registration or to enforce voter ID even. The judges are knocking down voter ID as if that's something unconscionable against the 14th Amendment, against people's rights. What? To require identification that you're an eligible voter? What could be more patriotic? What could be more American than that? But literally, we have 100% of judges voting down those voter ID laws, which shows that they're under the Democratic agenda. Well, it's actually a globalist agenda. They do the same thing under Republicans, but
the Democrats are the cutting edge, though.
Yes, they are. Now, it's telling, though, that they get some things done more than others. You know, this rumor about Obama going to stay in office and there's not going to be election in the future because he's going to take control has been going around for years, but it's bogus. Obama's a puppet. He's controlled by the globalists, and they know that there's a groundswell of reaction against Obama. They're not so stupid as to keep Obama in power. They're going to give us a controlled Republican next time around. I'm predicting that not only will Hillary Clinton run, but she will be defeated. I think the powers that be really like to have a compliant puppet as president, not someone like Hillary who really will try to run the presidency. But I think they really want to give relief to the country, a false relief in the form of a controlled Republican. Of course, they're trying to shove Chris Christie at us, who's another... it's shades of what happened when they wanted Rudolph
Finish your U.S. Political view, and we come back and we'll go right to calls. But you can see them also organized with the Republican leadership and Democratic leadership to destroy the real libertarian constitutional Tea Party movement. And you see Rand Paul being demonized as well. We'll get Joel Skousen's take on election 2016 and your calls. Joe, JD, Mark, John, Rick, everybody, straight ahead.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.